right, welcome to the Biz Talk Live Show, everyone. I am your host, Shanté R. Roddy. Come on in. I see you all coming in. Thank you so much. Please do share out this show to anyone that you believe needs to see this show and hear what we have to say today, right? Every week we bring you a brand new entrepreneur story, right? And we have a dynamic lady here with us today. I can't wait to introduce her and have her talk about herself, right? Hit the love button, drop any comments that you have. If we don't get to your questions during the show, we always follow up after the show. That's when the party really gets started, right? So we're excited to have you all here. No further ado, I'm going to introduce Myra J Stepter. Hi.
Hey.
Hi. Myra, I'm so excited to have her here. Myra is the CEO of Myra J Stepter International. So I'm looking forward to her talking about her business and her journey with us. So Myra, please introduce yourself. Let people know who you are, what your business is, and who you serve.
I am Myra J Stepter, as we said. Look, I just love my name. Like, it just kind of rolls off. But I call myself the chief smile producer. That's my role in the business. And what that also entails is the fact that I am a holistic mindset strategist. That is one of the businesses, but that is the main thing. And what I do in that is I help people literally reframe their mindset, reset that faulty programming, that stinking thinking, as well as release those things that never served them or that no longer serve them or never did, as well as heal those areas in their life that's keeping them stuck. So that they can move from knowing that they got greatness in them, because we all have been told that, but we have to have that thing that helps us bridge the gap from knowing that we've got it, greatness in us, to actually embodying that greatness. And so that's literally what I do. And I encompass that through coaching, through classes, through different trainings, a body care line, through also spiritual coaching. So I do a number of things that actually help us move kind of in a mind, body, spirit frame of work to becoming who we're supposed to be.
Awesome.
And who I serve are generally entrepreneurs, because in a lot of instances, entrepreneurs have a lot of the tips and the tools for their business, but they get stuck right here. A lot of people are talking about confidence, but lack of confidence isn't so much that you don't have confidence in any area. And some people that are not moving forward in their businesses are sitting back going, but I believe in myself, but you don't necessarily believe that you can do the thing that you think you're trying to do. Or you're in a place where you have not figured out why you're sabotaging yourself. And so those are all things that go back to a mindset perspective. And if we deal with the mindset, then literally you're able to springboard everything that you have, all those little tips and tricks and bits of information, all those it helps make those classes more effective that you signed up for and enrolled in and you got a hard drive full of, and you're sitting back like, oh, I really want to do that. And there's that thing, whether you're on level 1 or level 100, whether you're making your first dollar or your first million, there are always little things that kind of pause us when it comes to our mindset. So those are the things that I help with.
Yeah, that's great. I can't wait to talk about this because I'm all over mindset. I feel it is so important. It's at the top of the list, priority list for us as entrepreneurs, because you have to start there at the mind.
You
right?
have to.
And that's what stops us from being our best selves and reaching our greatest potential and achieving our goals. So we're really going to dive into that because I think this is such a great topic. But let me just say, the name, every time I hear this name, every time I say it, every time I hear her say it, Chief Smile Producer, it just makes me smile. So how did you come up with that name? I just was attracted to it the minute you said that's what you are. And
yes, Because so this is the thing. I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur. My first time, starting a business, I was 15 years old with a t-shirt business. All those not infomercials, but those back in the like you and I think we're close to in age. So you remember on TV, you always saw those seminars that came to the city for free, and then you could call in and get this free ticket to go to this seminar, right? And you get to the seminar and they're talking about all these different things, a lot of valuable information, and then you could buy something for $500. You could buy this business for five. So my very first business, I called my mom's a t-shirt business, and I called her at work and I was like, I want to spend my money and buy this business. And so what I did from that point, everybody was a CEO, right? And I was like, I want to be a CEO of a business. And so through my different iterations of business, I was like, you know what? I want to be something different than the CEO. And I started seeing as I connected to different businesses and was a part of different startup companies, a lot of times the CEO was called something else. They still were the CEO, but they called them something else. And so then I was like, okay, well, the thing that I love the most about myself, like my first thing is my smile. And usually that's the first thing people see because a lot of times I'm walking around like this. I'm just smiling all the time, right? And so what I also gravitated to was the fact that that's the first thing that I look at with people. So I like to be the person that helps people produce a smile, whether it's producing smiles in their lives, whether it's feeling empowered. Everything that I do, no matter whether it's coaching or mental health advocacy or ministry, whatever I'm doing, it's really designed to help people produce a smile on their face. And I was like, well, okay, if I'm gonna be the chief of anything, I'm going to be the chief smile producer and I'm going to help create additional smile producers. So that's really one of my main goals is to empower other people to be smile producers too, to get out there and help other people smile just like they are.
I love that. That is like so cool, right? That is so cool.
It's like,
Okay,
oh, so cool. Yeah.
so how let us know, like, how did you get started in this? How did you become like a mindset coach, and what drew you to it?
So the longer of the shorter stories is that I went through a 5-year battle with depression, severe depression. Didn't know what it was, just was kind of in the fog. And when I emerged from that, I was like, okay, now it's time to do something. And how are you going to serve the world? And how are you going to help the world? And you know that you don't want to necessarily go back to the corporate world and be a tech salesperson and all that kind of stuff again. So what are you going to do? And back when I was doing freelance work for an advertising company, I was going to networking events. And I went to a BNI event. And, most people are familiar with BNI. It's a, networking organization. Went to a BNI event and I met this guy, and he, got up to do his whole spiel, and he was a life coach. I was like, what is that? Like, that doesn't even sound like a thing, and this was like, like 2007 or 8, something like that. And I'm like, what that doesn't even sound like a thing. What is that? And so he, gave his whole little spiel and explained, but then I went to go talk to him a little bit further because a lot of the things that he said made me kind of go, that I do that. Like, I do that in ministry. I do that just general, I'm helping people all the time with their life. So let's learn a little bit more about that. And so he, sparked that interest. So I did research because I'm a super researcher. I research everything. My family calls me walking Google because if it's something to know, I might know a little something about it, And so I did my research, and then I put all that on the back burner. Now, when I was emerging from this depression, literally, I keep saying all of this is God ordained because I hadn't been paying attention to those emails that were coming from all that research and signing up for all those different subscription lists and everything. I happened to one of the days write down around my birthday. This was 2011, I want to say. wrote down my manifest list for that year. These are the things that I wanted to manifest that year. So one of the things was I wanted my own business, and and I was looking at just all the stuff. And so then I happened to be sending an email. One of the emails just kind of made me look, and I just decided to open it. It wasn't any fantastic headline or anything like that, but I just decided to open it. Well, that particular email was from a coaching organization that had a scholarship program. And I was like, huh, okay. So I, looked at the stuff. I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to inquire about the scholarship program. Well, I inquired and I got a reply back that said that the three letters of recommendation, or two letters of recommendation, your own personal letter about why you wanted to be a part of it, plus, a few other little things needed to be turned in the next day. And I'm like, well, who in the world am I going to get to do this? Fill out this letter of recommendation. So I called a couple of friends of mine that I had worked with before that, knew me very well. And I was like, this is what I need. And they were like, oh, this is the crazy thing. Both of them were off that day and had just taken a personal day off from work. So they were like, oh, I'll have it to you, in a few hours. That's okay. And so they did that. I sent all that stuff in. Long story short, got in the class, went through that particular part, spiritual life coaching part. And I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. And even once I got out of that, I went into business coaching. And I tell people this all the time. I went into business coaching for about 5 years because someone told me that being an empowerment coach was not what I needed to do, that you can't make money as an empowerment coach. And I was like, but that's what I want to do. And she's like, no, you have to be a health coach, a relationship coach, or a business coach. And I was so used to helping everybody in their businesses or get started up with things and giving them ideas. And I had all the resources. So I said, well, I guess I'm going to be a business coach. And literally went down that path. And I couldn't understand why it was so draining. And I didn't love it. And I didn't want to do it. And so it got to the point where I wasn't really even making the money that I had been making because I just wasn't passionate about it, right? And so I literally burned it all down. I said, okay, God, I give up. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to go back and I'm not going to live my purpose. Like whatever this purpose to like help people live their best life and all, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm just going to go work a regular job and sit in a cubicle somewhere and, be a sales manager and that's it. And literally had to have my come to Jesus, come to Myra, come to everybody meeting where we had our knockdown drag out. I had my knockdown drag out, and I was allowed to, God didn't smite me or whatever, it was really just like, have your moment, and then when I sat back and I was like, okay, what do I need to do just for me, not for business, just for Myra, because I need to decide how am I going to move forward and what do I need to do? And literally, it was like I kept hearing the words reset. And I was like, reset. So then I had to learn what is starting over, what is resetting, what's the difference between the two. And then literally the goal changed. And so then it was like, focus on what was missing when you were doing what you were doing. It's not that you weren't supposed to help entrepreneurs, not that you weren't supposed to help people that have goals, dreams, and desires. It's just that you were supposed to be there to bridge the gap from the missing pieces. And the missing piece was, for me, even in my business, was how I was thinking. And I noticed that even in different classes that I took, if somebody even focused on mindset, it was like a blip. It was like, we're going to talk about visualize this and you should think like this. And now let's go get these millions. Well, that doesn't work for everybody. And that doesn't work for most people. And so then it was like, okay, now let's unpack that process. I'm really good at delving in and unpacking and zeroing in and looking at the details. And I was like, oh, that's where the empowerment piece comes from, which is why I originally even got into this in the first place, because I was so excited about empowering people to look inward and be themselves. And it's like, oh, that's mindset. Okay, and so
Michael,
that's
Michael, yeah,
yeah, so that's how all of this, it was just like, okay, but I needed to burn it all down, and I needed to go through, and that's why I tell people even now, no matter what it is that you're doing, understand that there may come a point in time where you have to burn it down, but don't burn it down without learning the lesson in why you did what you did. I had to be a business coach that didn't love it because I had to go through the process of seeing what was going to be missing.
yes,
As what were people not getting from their business coaches? What is it that entrepreneurs needed, not just when they're starting off, but when they're making the $1 million? There's some stuff here that's going to get them to that point where, yeah, even though I did do all of this, I can't quite get to that next thing. And that's the stuff I needed to see and interact with folks that were in those different levels. And then with that knowledge, I could go back and say, you know what, I really didn't love that thing, so I can let that thing go and I can really fully be who I'm supposed to be.
yeah.
So that
Yeah, let's you said a lot, so let's unpack a little bit for our audience, because I think that is so important. Like, even when you talked about, like, you were in it, someone told you that you needed to be a business coach, right? So we can talk
yes.
about that too, and listen, and how much you
Woo.
listen to other people over your own voice.
Oh my
Is a
gosh.
lot of times the problem is that we don't even listen to our inner voice that's telling us what we should be doing. It's leading us in the right direction, and then we relying too heavily on outside opinions
Yes.
about what we should be doing, right?
Yes.
So that's
And
the
that happens a lot.
it
That
happens
happens a
a lot
lot.
all the
We
time.
listen to somebody else say, this is the only way. And one of the things that I like to turn on its ear is if you go to 10 people, 10 people will tell you that their way is the only way. No, it's the way that worked for them. It may not be the way that works for you. So it may not be the only way. It may be a good idea of a way, but it may not be the only way. And so that's one of the things where I don't fault that business coach per se, because there has to be a point in time where I stood up and said, but that's not what I want to do. And it
Yeah,
should, it should have been in that conversation, because I went through the coaching certification. I understand co-creation. And if you can't help me build what I desire to build, then I need to go build it with somebody else.
yeah,
But I didn't have that. And so now I'm trying to tell other people, if you're working with someone, a mentor, a coach, whoever, and they can't help you build what you desire to build, go find somebody that's going to help you do that.
yeah, absolutely. And that's not just a coach; it's a mentor, counselor.
Yeah,
Um,
everybody.
yeah, because
Your
I had a counselor
supporters.
one time. Yeah, whoever it is, then find someone else. And I like what you said about, you knew that it wasn't for you. And I think sometimes, well, I think a lot of us have been here when you come to the realization that this isn't it. It's like you feel it like in your bones, like it's a struggle. And I like how you put that, because that's exactly how what happens is, like it is so exhausting.
It
It's
is.
like, and you have no interest, like no passion at all for this thing that you're in. That is, to me, a sign that it's time to make an exit. It's time to
Right.
do something different, right? And not,
Right.
but too many times we will stay in it. But I always say, and sometimes, like myself, I was staying in because I want to help people. But the
Right.
Lord, if you don't move, He will set it up to move you on your way to the
Right.
next, on your path. So it's a
Right.
process. But so many times, and I tell people, when you see people that have, the people actually literally check out, they will be there in body, but their spirit, their mind, emotions are completely checked out, and then you
Right.
wonder why they're not productive. That's why.
That's when you start doing that whole scrambling,
Yeah,
and you just start doing that whole busy work thing. And I talk
yeah,
about that all the time. That scrambling and that busy
that's
work, that
right.
is not productivity. But you do that because you end up, if you don't love it, then you don't feel like you can show up properly. And
Yeah,
if you don't feel like you can show up properly, then you try to find ways to hide. And if everybody's telling you, I see you hiding, I know you're hiding, then you're like, okay, I need to figure out some way that doesn't look like I'm hiding, right? And so my thing, unfortunately or fortunately for me, was that I'm creative.
Mm,
So when it comes to being creative, I can hide behind pretty graphics. I can hide behind, oh, I made a beautiful post. So I'm
yeah.
just going to post that picture up there. And so it seems like I'm still there, even though I'm not fully engaged in the way that I need to be. And then it goes to, well, now while you're not really there, you're putting up these pretty graphics, but then how long did it take you to make that graphic just perfect, right? You know, when it was okay to post like 5 days ago, but you decided to take a little bit more time to make it perfect and make the right wording to put around it. And it's like, no, you're just procrastinating, honey. Stop it. You know, but again, for a lot of people to understand that your confidence is shaken in those areas because you're not exactly living the business, the purpose in the way that you're supposed to. So you decide, so you start stepping back, even though you think that, you know, and you tell yourself, I'm not hiding. I mean, I'm posting every day. I go live periodically. You know, I'm not hiding, but
Right.
you're not showing up in the fullness of what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, because that was me, and I tell that all the time. When I first came from corporate America, and was on this entrepreneur path, pretty much for 2 years,
Mhm.
I wasn't showing up. I was behind the laptop, um, and then I just made the decision. I mean, it didn't just happen like that. I lost my mom,
Right.
but
Right.
and then it just took me through a series of steps. But I think that's also important to know because I think a lot of times we look at what everybody else is doing online, right? And I
Oh
know this
boy.
personally, but just based on what people have told me, what it looks like
Yes.
based on things they see me do, and I'm like, you think all that based on what I posted? And I'm like, if you knew the real, no. So we're making
No.
assumptions about people about based on what they're posting on social media. And
Mhm.
then we're based on our lives on that. So now we're letting that impact our confidence. Now we're letting that impact our mindset. And now we're
Right.
shrinking back because based on what we think
Based on what we think,
someone
and that's
else is
not really
doing,
what's happening.
that's not really happening at all.
That's not really happening. And that's where, you know, a lot of times I say to folks, because I've had people even say to me, oh no, you know, I know you're out here making $1 million and you're doing this and this. And I'm like, where's that $1 million?
And where did
Can you
I
go
say
get it
that?
for me? And
Right.
when did I say that? You know, when did I say I'm out here making $1 million? Because trust me, I'm not out here making $1 million. And and if someone's got my million,
Please. Hello.
I need you to send it. You can cash app it, you can PayPal it. Heck, I will let you wire transfer it. What do you need to do? You know, if you got my million. And so because of that, I tell people all the time, just because it looks pretty and glossy, just because it seems like it's bigger and badder and better than what it is, than you know, in your view, doesn't mean that it is that. And I told somebody recently, I said, you know, that cliche, all that glitters is not gold. All that glitters is in gold, all that glitters is in diamonds. Sometimes that thing that's glittering, that's shining, is tinfoil
Yes.
or aluminum foil. You know, it's Reynolds wrap. Yeah, okay. And so and this is the thing, but catch this. Look, this is good. This is hot off the presses. It's Reynolds wrap, right? It's aluminum foil. It doesn't mean that it's not useful.
Mm.
It's just not necessarily it okay. The analogy just fully came in. Doesn't mean that it's not useful, but it does mean that it's temporary.
Mm.
So when you're looking at some of these people that are giving you this idea of greatness, or you're looking at these people that are saying there's only one way to do whatever needs to be done, or you're looking at these people that are telling you constantly, and again, sometimes this is true, but a lot of times it's not, that your goals are not big enough. Sometimes, because I think even in the group we were talking about this, $100,000 goal, and $100,000 goal might not be the right goal for someone who has been in their business for 8 years and they're making $90,000 a year, and it's like, honey, you need to level up. Start thinking about 200,000. Start thinking about the stretch goal for what you're trying to do. But for somebody who's just getting started, and we keep talking about this millionaire mindset, that seems so big. That seems too big. They don't have a concept of $50,000 mindset,
Right.
because they've never made that in their job. Maybe their job had them making $8 an hour, and now we're telling them, but think about a million. And if you don't have a million is like $5,000 nowadays. And they're like, well, shoot, I'm never gonna make it. I'm never gonna move forward, because they haven't even made that one $5 sale yet. And so I think that a lot of times what happens is that people with the opposing view, people with the view of, hey, sometimes you have to think about the small goals in order to move to the big goals, those people are not speaking loud enough. Mm-hmm. Those people are not talking. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, the squeaky wheel gets the attention, right? And so I had to start even looking inward for me. Myra, you've got different concepts and views on a lot of these things than what's the norm and what's popular and what the gurus are saying. And there's somebody out there that's just like you, that's sitting back saying, but I mean, that sounds all fine and good, but $1 million has me terrified. And so I need to be thinking, well, what's that $10,000 a month look like? Hey, what's that $5,000 a month look like? And for some people, that's what they needed in order to keep moving forward. Like, have that $1,000 a month, have that $5,000 a month. I was talking with someone that was in a network marketing company, and they were constantly being told, you need to be the $1 million director. You need to be this. You need to be this. They weren't even selling $500 a month in their product. Well, if you're not selling $500 a month in your product, and you don't know how to build a team, you don't know how to go one by one, you don't know how to engage customers and create the shift from customer to promoter, then you're not gonna have $1 million in that business.
But I think that's where we then fill in the gap.
Right.
And I think entrepreneurs out there, when you're looking at yourself in the marketplace and what services you offer, I think you serve a great example of finding out who your customer is. What do you do differently? How are you unique? So I'm a big dreamer. So yeah. I'm a $1 billion, $1 million lady, but I also recognize that it can be intimidating. And even those of us with the biggest of goals, you can't do it all at once. You have to break it down in bigger chunks, right?
Yes.
Because you just be like me, I'm a perfectionist. So I would just get check out, overwhelmed by the whole thing. Instead of instead break it down into smaller milestones, mm-hmm. and then congratulate myself along the way for each step that I'm making. So it's not that I lost sight of my bigger goal, which is the long-term goal. Because you have entrepreneurship, you have to be in this for the long game. We check out so quickly if we don't make a sale in a week, if we don't make a sale in a month.
But that's because entrepreneurs have not surrounded themselves with people that have the realistic understanding. They feel like, oh, if you're telling me that I can't make $1 million in a week, you're not being realistic. You're being a Debbie Downer. And I'm like, no, honey. What I'm saying to you is that the $1 million is possible. But $1 million, to make $1 million, you got to make 100,000. To make 100,000, you got to make 1,000. To make 1,000, you got to make $1. And if you're not consistently making $1, then you're not going to get to $1 million.
Right. Or how to make the dollar.
Right.
How to do it consistent. Because consistency is the key.
Oof. Ooh,
And that's why,
look, ooh.
that's why you're in for the long game, because it's consistency. So if it's not working after a week and you're just like, I give up, or a month and I just give up, but that's what society shows us. They
Right.
glamorize it like, oh,
You
you're
got,
a millionaire online, and you're looking at everybody else, and then it's messing up your mind.
it's
So
messing up your mind.
how do we overcome that, Myra? Like, how do we silence the noise and all of this distraction and
So
focus
this is
on
the
us?
thing. So this is the thing. It's funny because don't silence the noise. Because this is why I say that. Don't silence the noise because there's always noise.
Yeah,
And if we're focusing on silencing noise, then guess what we've done now? We've made noise the distraction
the
that keeps us
distraction.
from focusing on what we want to do. So I always say, I'm not worried about what else is going on around me. It could be as noisy as it wants to be. My main thing is to focus on what I'm supposed to focus on, no matter what's happening around me, no matter what everybody else is talking about. Because I always say this: it doesn't become true to you until you believe it.
Mm,
It's not true to you until you believe it. Okay. So no matter what anybody else is saying about you, when people, you think about even when you're a little kid, if someone says you're ugly, you're fat, you're stupid, you're this, it, there are two kinds of kids. You can have two kids being told the very same things, right? And if they sit back, the one kid that decides to internalize it and says, yeah, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I'm fat, and that's a bad thing, and then that thing weighs on them. But then you have that other kid that you say, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're fat, and that kid goes, what? Do you not know I'm amazing? I don't care what you're saying. I'm amazing. And if you feel like I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I'm fat, that's your problem. I'm amazing. And they go on to do whatever they need to do, right? They go on to be their amazing self. They're not stifled by it. Why? Because they didn't let what you said about them get here. Okay. And so that's the thing with your business, with your goals that you're trying to do, with the things that you've envisioned, that you're dreaming about. It's not about drowning out the noise. It's about figuring out what you need to do to stay focused, right? Maybe you need to put some different noise on top of it. People say a lot of times, even in this online space, that with it's noisy out here. It is noisy because everybody has access to everything. Everybody has ways to post online. This is free. You post everything online. You can go on video. You can hit all the platforms if you want to, or hit a couple of the platforms or whatever. And so it's noisy. And so then there's this, okay, how do I stand out? And I've told a few people, I'm like, quit worrying about standing out. Why not just worry about showing up?
showing up. That's the biggest
Because
thing.
just show up. Because the prime example in the group, in the BWP group. I just joined that group in May. There are people that have been in that group for a couple of years now. And they don't show up. Right? This year, I've been very intentional in showing up in the spaces that I decide to show up in. I've been very intentional about putting my feet under the tables that I want to be in.
Yeah.
And being very intentional about surrounding myself with a different type of support, right? But then, even with the surrounding of that, I've released some things that weren't what I needed, right? Because when I was doing the whole business coaching thing, when I got to that point of, I don't like this, it's not working for me, then what I started doing was ingesting other business coaches. And I was joining their groups and joining their subscription list, and how are they doing it, and what else can I do? Because right now I'm not doing enough stuff, and I need more, and give me more, and I want more. And so then it was like, I don't even know what you're talking about, because everybody's saying do the same thing 5 different ways, and now I'm confused, and I don't even know what I was trying to say do, and wait, I don't even agree with you. And so then it was like, no. And I was just telling a friend of mine yesterday, another entrepreneur, I said, so this time around, I decided that my focus was different. Are there some mindset people that I listen to? Yeah, there's about two or three of them out there, but I'm not inundated with mindset stuff. What I've done this time around is I'm looking for the holes. I'm looking for the people that have got these programs out here where they're telling you that you can make $1 million in a day. And then I'm sliding in going, so, hi, you need me because you're getting these people all jazzed and pumped up to do something that is not going to work for them. It's gonna, yeah, you got 5 people that have testimonials out there, but what about the other 2,000 people that have signed up for your program that are not benefiting because they literally started looking at your first 2 modules and they went, I can't do this, or oh, that's so big. So now I'm going, hi, we probably need to collaborate, huh?
Absolutely.
You know, and so that's why I say it's not about drowning out the noise. It's about figuring out what are you supposed to be
To be doing
focusing on
and
and
focus.
stick with that and focus on that. And when stuff comes at you, when people are saying things at you, I had someone say to me earlier in the year, why would you focus on mindset? That's such a small piece. You're not going to be able to make money doing that. And I was like, it's not a small piece. It's literally everything. It's
It's everything.
literally
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I've heard people say that about motivation too. And
Yeah.
but I think like it's taking a turn. That's why you can again, you can't just listen to everybody. If you've been
Yes.
given something, it's been given to you. It's not for everybody else to understand.
Right.
Because I remember people saying like mindset wasn't a big deal, motivation wasn't a big deal, right?
Tell
And
Les
so
Brown motivation's not a big deal. Tell Tony Robbins motivation's not a big deal.
right. And it's
Tell
like
Zig Ziglar it's not a
it's
motivation's not a big deal.
it's not a big deal. Meanwhile, people are struggling like in their business, in their life, in the business. Because if you're struggling in your life, you're struggling in your
You
business.
struggle.
One impacts the
Say that
other,
five
right?
times real fast. Yeah. If
And
you
they're like, okay, I'm not getting the clients. I'm not doing this. I'm not achieving these results. And it's not that you don't have the expertise. It's not that you don't have what it takes, right? It goes back to the mindset.
yes.
It's
Yes.
limiting beliefs, th- lack of confidence. I mean, I've
Mhm.
dealt with that when I left corporate
Yeah.
America, and my confidence was down to the floor, and I
Mhm.
had to work on building it back up. That's why
Yes.
I know mindset, right? And when you say motivating people, oh, people don't need to be motivated. Yes, people do.
People
People
do.
need to be
They
motivated,
need to be motivated and they need to be empowered.
empowered.
And those are two very different things. And that's the thing
Yes,
that folks go, oh, well, motivation, da, da, da. And, that's the same thing. And I'm like, no, it's not. Empowerment is that stuff from within. Motivation is the stuff from without. Sometimes you have to have people around you that give you that swift kick in the back of your neck or in the back of your back or wherever, in the seat of your pants. That's like, I need you to get on up and
yeah,
get on going. But then you also need the empowerment because you need to feel like, you know what? I can really do
yes.
this. I really can. And let me get out here and make this happen. And so you can feel like you can really do it and still not be motivated to do it.
Do it.
Or you could be motivated to do it and don't feel like you can do it. So you need both
That's
of them
good.
hand in hand. You need both of them hand in hand. And you need people around you that understand that. I used to tell people I changed my circle. I changed my circle because I had, not that you can't have employees in your circle. You can. There are some people that are employees that, are all about you reaching your goals and making it happen and doing your thing. Okay. But you also have to have people in your circle that are moving in the way that you want to move. You don't have to be in the same business, but they have to be moving in the same way that you want to move. And I say that to say, if I want somebody to kick me in my back and say, girl, I need you to keep going. And then I take 3, 4, 5 steps and they stay back there. And when I'm about to fall back, there's nobody there to kick me in my back because they're not moving forward too. Right. And so then either I'm going to fall flat on my back or I'm going to take those 3, 4, 5 steps back to get where somebody else is to kick me forward. So if you notice, a lot of entrepreneurs that don't have that proper support, they're constantly either falling on their face or they're falling backwards and trying to gain momentum again and falling backwards and trying to gain momentum again. And you see them push real hard at the same thing over and over and over again. And it's like, listen, if you get a pack of wolves that are moving forward too, you get some powerhouses, and it doesn't mean you have to move fast. It just means you have to move strong.
Strong. I
So
love that. And with the right people.
with the right people, you're moving strong. You're not. You don't have to move fast. Everybody doesn't have to be going 30 miles per hour. But let me tell you something, and I'll share this because I don't think I've not said this to you, but I've talked about you, and I'm like, listen. I said, this Shanté, let me tell y'all something. I was like, she's one of those people that I wanted in my circle. And this is why. First of all, because you do those little check-ins. I don't see, what are you doing? Like, did you do X, Y, Z? You do those little check-ins. But also because I see you moving. And let me tell you what happens when people see you moving that are connected to you. That gives them permission. That gives them the motivation to say, well, what's not going to happen is I'm not going to have her out here making this $1 million and I'm over here making 3. No, right. I'm not about to do that with my life right now, because when my friend goes and gets her million and says, hey, girl, hey, I'm going to the Maldives. You want to go? And the jet is fired up. I don't want to be sitting here going, I would like to, but the Maldives is a little out of my price range right now, honey.
Right.
You don't want that to be the thing. And you don't always want to, you want to be the person. Like I was looking at, this is funny. I was looking at a resort in Grenada. It's a Black-owned resort in Grenada, like 6-star luxury, amazing resort in Grenada, right? And I was like, I'm looking at Maldives and Bora Bora and, all these other places. But I was like, hold up, Grenada, I think I might need to come visit you. And one of my big things that I want to do is not just about travel, but about taking people with me, where I can literally say, hey, y'all, I've booked X amount of rooms. I want you to come hang out with me in Grenada. As a matter of fact, so, and then be able to say, I got the tab on this. Your plane ticket, I've talked to the travel agent, the plane ticket is already there. This is already done. Like, come on through. Like, that's the kind of stuff I want to do. And I want to be with people that think that same way, where if I call you and say, Shanté, this is these are the dates. Are you available? Okay, my travel agent's going to send you the ticket. I also want to know that I've got these quote unquote boss friends that in, next year, then you say, hey, Myra, hey, girl, listen, we're about to go over yonder. And are you available those dates? Because, I'm going to send you the flight information. Like, it's not even about, do you have it? Can you get to it? It's, girl, I got this. So here, I'm trying, because I know that you're the same kind of person and you're operating on the same kind of level, that when the time comes that you have this great idea of a place that you want to go, you're going to do the same thing. It's not going to be about, can I afford it or whatever. It's going to be, hey, boss friends do boss friend things.
Absolutely.
And so we've got to connect with those kinds of people on whatever level, even if it's not that grand, even if it's just, hey, girl, I had, a couple $100 and I booked you a flight on Frontier, and let's go, over here to, Las Vegas, and we're just going to hang out in the casino, go see a show. Like, it doesn't have to be a big grand thing. It might just be, we're going to hang out in Houston and go to the outlet mall. Whatever your thing is on your level, that's the kind of friends that you need to surround yourself with, that first of all, understand what support looks like. Support might not mean that they got to buy from you, but support does mean that they can buy from you. Mm-hmm. Support may mean that they just need to share your things out and talk you up and talk about you and say, hey, my friend over here is doing great things. You should check them out. Support might look like, you know what? I'm not your girlfriend that's going to, buy all your stuff. I'm going to share your stuff, but I am your girlfriend that's going to say, girl, let's go get a glass of wine, or let's go listen to some music, or what's your favorite thing that you like to do? Let's go do that, because I see that you need a break, that your brain is doing all of this stuff and I need you to, bring it down right here. So I'm surrounding myself with people that understand the different sides of me, and they may not all be in the same person.
Right. That's important. And support is action,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of people say, "Oh, I support and I do this and I collaborate." It's a lot of words because
Don't
that's trendy. Again, people, it's like it's a trend, right?
it is.
I hear it so often. Oh, we love support, we support, and people don't really even understand what that means, right? I
Then I
support.
need to write a book.
I love collaboration. I love collaboration. No, it means that you're actually taking action, right? That you're doing it. So I think it's important for our audience to look at your circle, right? Look at the people that you're around. And if you need to move some people, move some people. Because I know some brilliant people, some gifted people, and what's holding them back is the people that they refuse to move out of their, like, distance themselves from. And they feel so guilty about doing it. And it's like, it's holding you hostage, really. It's,
Right.
and you need to free yourself from that. It doesn't mean you don't like them or love them or
Right. It's just they can't be your people. This is the thing.
right.
A lot of entrepreneurs that are brand new to this walk, especially, and then even some that have been seasoned for a while that just don't have the whole process down. We spend a lot of time having 4 and 5 hour conversations with folks about random stuff that's not about building, it's not about growing, it's not about getting the bag. And those people have those conversations with you because you don't have a job. Like that's how they feel. Because if you think about it, when you were in the corporate world,
Yeah.
these same people were not calling you 5 times a day having long conversations with you, right? And even aside from that, because one of my other mantras, I used to say, you train people how to treat you. I scrapped that because we've heard that so much. I say you train yourself how to treat you and hold yourself accountable to that. And everybody either falls in line or falls off.
It falls off. I'm with that.
Because this is the thing. If you train yourself how to treat you, if you train yourself how to show up in your business, if you train yourself how to have boundaries, oh God, if you train yourself how to get help when you need it, how to open your mouth when you need to, how to show up when you need to, and then hold yourself accountable to that. When someone calls you and they want to talk to you for more than 15, 20 minutes, if they want to have that 3 hour conversation and you need to be doing something for your business, or you haven't met your financial goal that you said you were going to meet for the day, then you have to say, oh, I love you so much, but this is not my lunchtime. This is not my sit down time. This is my time where I need to be pushing out, making cold calls, doing whatever, going live, having my conversations, whatever I need to be doing. And if you're not calling me right now to have a conversation about how you can secure my services and pay me, then I love you, but I'm gonna have to go right now and take care of this other thing that I need to do that's gonna help me build my business. Because guess what? Since I do love you so much, when I'm at the top, I'm gonna bring you at least on a vacation with me. But we're both gonna be sitting at the Goodwill if we have this conversation that's really not helping us elevate.
Right.
I love you. I want to talk to you about what happened on the shows that you watch. But guess what? Those people are making tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars to be on that show, and we're not making any dollars talking about it. So either we need to start a podcast where we talk about all the shows that you watch, or
that puts them in perspective.
Yeah. And so I have several folks that when they call me now, they're like, do you have time? And I'm like, don't approach it like that.
Right.
Again, I love you. I want to talk to you. At this particular moment, I need to be doing something that makes me not have to call you to set up a GoFundMe for me. Okay?
Exactly. I think that's so good and that's so important because that's why it's so important to have people in your circle, have a community of entrepreneurs and small business owners, or just like-minded people. People understand what it is to be an entrepreneur. Because I can tell you how many times I've heard people say that. Like they get calls, like me working at home don't mean I'm free and eating bonbons. and talking on
Right.
the phone and watching TV.
I ain't a freaking bonbons if I'm talking to you all day.
Okay. Okay. So we look, we're running out of time already. So I wanted, can you leave our guests with like one or two like of your top tips that will help them be successful? And it can be from a mindset perspective, which I think again is like the most important thing. But from your perspective, what are two important things, takeaways that they need to know to be successful in business?
I think one of the things that you need to know to be successful in business is that you need to go back to the original reason that you decided to do this business.
Mm,
What was the purpose? Not necessarily that whole the why of the tangible things, but what was that intangible subconscious, like deeply rooted thing that you wanted to do? Not just the I want to help people, but I want to XYZ this thing with people because I see this gap out there, or I want to be the person that because that's what I say. I say, I want to be the person that I needed when I was going through these things. I want to be the person that bridges that gap. I want to be the person that helps somebody walk out of the fog of depression. I want to be the person that helps someone spiritually align whatever their religion or spirituality beliefs are. Like that's what I needed in my process. So go back to the original purpose that you had when you said, I want to start this business. And the other thing is trust yourself. Trust yourself. Learn how to look at that person in the mirror and say, I trust whatever decision you make, and I'm rocking with you wholeheartedly, 100%. Because a lot of times, with everything that's out here in the market, it's designed to make you trust everybody but the person in your mirror. Everything is designed to make you say this person's right, this person's right, this person's right, and because I don't quite believe the same way, I got to shift what I'm doing. Because that's the thing that I said, even about me doing that business coaching for 5 years. It was because I didn't trust that what I bring to the world is empowerment. What I bring to the world is helping people dig deep within themselves and shine in their greatness. That's not what I believed I brought to the world when my coach said, that's not how you make money, so you can't do that.
yeah.
I should have gone back and said, but that's what I do. I mean, like my whole life, this is what I've done. So how is that not a thing? And if it's not a thing, I need to make it a thing.
Make it a thing. Make it a thing. That's it.
You know?
I
And
think you
so,
help so many people with that. Yeah.
right. And
Make
so I definitely say go back and trust yourself. No matter what it is, no matter what it looks like, what it sounds like, there are always going to be people out there. And stop with the haters thing. Everybody ain't hating on you. They don't understand.
it. Yeah.
And some of the people that we call haters are actually people that love you so intensely that they don't want to see you fail. They don't want to see the heartache. They don't want to see the heartbreak. They don't want to see the frustration that you go through on a regular basis. So the only thing that they know to do is to tell you, don't go that way. That's like parents, don't touch the fire. It's hot. It's going to hurt you. But that might be the lesson that you need to learn, to touch it and go, oh, look at that. I got a blister. Don't do that no more. Right. And so trust yourself, though, in a way that allows you to move forward, to ask for the help, to seek whatever guidance you need to receive, to move forward in whatever thing is that you need to do. Trust yourself enough to know that you got this. I know.
Okay, audience, you have it. You make it happen, right?
Yes.
Make a space for yourself. Your gift will make room for you. I mean, I
Right.
say that is not cliche. That is the complete truth. So I don't
Easy.
care how many other businesses are like yours, how saturated somebody say the market, or what you're doing won't work. Don't worry
Right.
about any of that. Any of that.
How
Because
many burger places do we have on every corner? The
Okay, let's
marketing
not,
is saturated.
I was just talking about that the other day. How many different loaves of bread? I put that image out one time. It was like 100 different brands of bread. And you're like, how
Right,
many different brands of brands can you have? A lot,
right,
because I don't eat all brands.
right. Right. Some people say, "Oh, you know what? That brand doesn't taste good." Wait, no. Let's go even crazier and wilder. How many brands of water are out there?
Oh my gosh, a lot.
You can look at the road and you got 17 spring waters,
And they making money.
19 distilled waters, 18 purified waters, and they're charging you $6 for a gallon of water.
And
Water.
sometimes they're charging you six for a bottle, depending on where you
Right.
are. Okay.
Right.
So if they
Right.
can do it, you can definitely do it too. So I have one last question. One
Right.
last question I ask all of my guests is, if you had a magic wand and you could change anything in the world, what would that be?
Woo, that is woo. Look, you're gonna hit me with the hard question at the end. Any one thing, um, I would change. Oh my goodness. Only one thing? Man, Shantae.
Just one.
I would change what would I change? What would I change? Let's see, let's see. Oh wait. I would change people's ability to be understanding. I would change compassion. I think I would fairy dust give everybody compassion,
Yeah.
like in that non-judgmental type. Not the stuff that's like, oh, I just want everybody to get along, or I want like you see color, you see differences, you see all that stuff, but you say, you know what? I have this level of compassion that says I want to understand you. I want to get to know you. I want to know your journey. So yeah, I would magic fairy wand compassion.
That's good. The world we can use a lot more
Woo.
compassion. That's
Yeah,
very good. Yeah, I know it's tough to say just one.
I know.
Um,
That's why I was like,
there's so many things that we can do, but that was so great. So, can you tell our audience just again where they can find you, right, and what you have coming up?
well, you can find me all over social media. Well, I shouldn't say all over, but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn. I'm Myra J Stepter everywhere. I try to keep it simple. It's just me. It's just my name. It's just me. But I'm Myra J Stepter everywhere. You can find, and even MyraJStepter.com. Like I try to keep it easy for people to find me, right? Coming up next, as a matter of fact, next Wednesday, like the timing was so perfect. Next Wednesday, I have the last time I'm going to do this live. Then it's going to turn into a full training class. But the last live of the Stop Sabotage to Elevate Execution Masterclass. I'm excited about this because every time people sit back and go, I didn't even know I was doing that. Like and sometimes the things that you're doing to sabotage yourself are very cloaked and hidden,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sometimes so minute that you don't really even realize that you're doing it. And some people just need to get the spotlight shined on that so that they can sit back and kind of perk up and get moving. Like stop sabotaging your goals and your dreams. If this is something that you really want, you got to deal sometimes with the subconscious of why you're not getting it.
Absolutely. All right. And so there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Biz Talk Live show. We bring you a new guest every single week, every Thursday at 1 o'clock p.m. If you would like to be a guest on our show, we invite you to apply. We also have sponsorship opportunities as well. You can go to bit.ly/Biz Talk Live. We also have a great virtual summit coming up for Black women entrepreneurs, October 21st through the 24th. It's virtual. That means it is online. It is 24-hour access, all 4 days, right? 24
Yeah.
dynamic speakers, international speakers, right? And Myra is one of those. Again, that is the Success Summit. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that. You definitely want to go get your tickets. Sponsorship opportunities are available through September the 30th. That is the absolute deadline. We need time to promote you, right? So
Yes.
we don't want you to hesitate or delay and miss out, because we expect this event to sell out, because it is a phenomenal movement. Nowhere else is this happening. So if you would like more information to get your ticket, go to bit.ly/BWP Success Summit 19. Thank you so much. We will come talk to you after this show. You all have a wonderful day. We'll see you next week, Thursday at 1 p.m. Until then, continue to pursue your dreams. Bye.